one of our favorites to talk ball with from the worldwide leader in sports from ESPN, Louis Riddick, back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you doing, Louis?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm just kind of stunned on the sort of un-Steeler-like maneuvers that we're seeing from the Pittsburgh Steelers to go out and bring in two quarterbacks from outside of the organization. But these are also smart plays, right? Russ only costs them $1 million and change. Justin Fields is a third-day draft choice in next year's draft. And even if they pick up his fifth-year option, you put all the figures together, and you've got a quarterback room of Russ and Justin Fields for 2 seasons for one and 1 season for the other for $30 million combined, which is a remarkable number. How do you see this all playing out, though, Louis?
Yeah, I think Mike really would like for Russell to play winning football in terms of playing on time, on schedule in Arthur Smith's new offense, relying on the run game, opportunistic deep shots, the occasional ad lib off schedule, let Russ cook type of throw, and allow this team to be able to always be there in the fourth quarter, win double-digit games, contend for the division title, get into the playoffs, and then let Mike do what he does, which is coach this team up, play great defense, special team, and next thing you know, maybe they're challenging in the divisional championship type of round, maybe that kind of scenario. I think that's what he would envision, while at the same time having Justin learn from a pro like Russell. Maybe they do develop a package of plays for Justin to where, it is a quote unquote 2 quarterback system where because I don't think you trade for Justin in order for him to just sit on the bench. I don't think that and don't have any kind of developmental plan for him at all. To me, it does seem like now the thing that kind of throws a wrench into all this, and we talked about this offline a little bit, is the fact that, look, they uncharacteristically seem to be, from the outside looking in, going out of their way to assure Russ, hey, no, you're the quarterback. You're the guy you're the guy who's going to be the starter. Now we'll assure you that you're going to, and then you hear these reports about maybe them already talking about extending Russell beyond this year, which is, like, to me, look, if I'm there right now, if I'm Omar Khan, if I'm talking to Mike Tomlin, I'm not guaranteeing him anything. I'm not guaranteeing anybody anything other than, okay, you know what? For the sake of having a depth chart, we're going to line up. Russ, you're going to be the starter. Justin, you're going to be the backup. But we're going to let you guys go for it now. Because the reason why I traded for you, Justin, is obviously, the market came to us. We played it perfectly. We knew that Ryan was going to try, and Deppie and Ryan Poles was going to try and do good by you. We know that every day that we waited, the price was coming down right back to us. It was a buyer's market. Look, that's this business, man. And we're good businessmen here in Pittsburgh. So for us to get you for, not necessarily you're telling them this, but for us to get you for a conditional 6th in next year's draft, we're glad that Ryan wanted to do right by you. For us, it's good business. But this guy's a former number 1 pick, first-round pick, who we have seen subjectively progress and start to make strides, start to take strides in his development, to the point where, from a pure quarterbacking standpoint, his ceiling is much higher than Russell's at this point in time. We know that. And here's the thing. Here's the kicker for me. Here's the kicker. Before people want to jump on Justin's ass and say, he has already shown us what he is, you're lying. And you know you're lying. And you know it's not true. Do not selectively apply that whole, well, you know what? I'll selectively apply when we think that the structure and the surroundings affected a guy and when we don't. Because the structure and the surroundings affected his development. It wasn't the same as what Patrick Mahomes was, or Jordan Love's was, or what Philadelphia did for Jalen Hurts. We know it's not the same. So don't say, well, it doesn't really matter because we just think he sucks because we saw what his what his win-loss record is and what his QB. Don't do that. What he gets to kind of operate with now is the best situation he's ever been able to operate with. So with that being known, if I'm Pittsburgh, I'm saying this. Russell, you start. Justin, you're backing up. But we're letting this thing play out. And there are no guarantees being given to anyone. That's why it shocks me a little bit that it seems like this is Russ's team all of a sudden. All of a sudden, it's here come all the Russell, Pittsburgh Nation, and this is going to be this. I've had enough of that. And I love Russ, but I've had enough of that. I think he's at a point in time in his career where, yeah, he's a borderline Hall of Famer based on what he's done in the past. He's had some great seasons. He's a Super Bowl winner and a play away from being from winning another one. But at this point in time, given what I've seen Justin overcome and what I've seen Russ do in the past and what I've seen him do recently, this right now is a competition. That's what I think I would be advocating for if I was there. And I would be fine with that. And I think the players would be fine with that because neither one of them at this point in time deserves the benefit of the doubt of any assurances of anything at this point in time, especially going to a new football team.
I'm with you, Lewis. And let's have some real talk here because if the Russ of the first 8-9 years of his career can reemerge, then the Steelers have Super Bowl hopes written all over them. Flat out. The issue is, though, is now kind of 3 years running. His last year in Seattle, the 2 in Denver. Every year starts with, okay, let's reset it. Russ was off. Russ, doesn't see the field as well sometimes. But and then we don't see the Russ of old show up. And that's the risk I think the Steelers are undertaking by saying you're the starter right off the bat. He takes way too many sacks, which for somebody at age 35, it's like you should know better. Fields takes too many sacks because at age 25, he doesn't yet know better. Okay. Yeah. And so that's the sort of thing I'm just wondering, like, why wouldn't you give Fields every opportunity to show that the last 6-7 games of his career in Chicago is now him sort of putting the pieces together, which happens with, say, somebody who's in year 3 at age 25. That's the thing that I'm kind of wondering. So how does that work? Where you're like, you're the starter and you're backing up and letting it play out. Like, what are the mechanics of that, Lewis?
You know what, man? We all become kind of prisoners to our own preconceived biases. Okay, so with Russ, right, we're biased to thinking he's got to have some of it left.
Right.
He's got to have, look, I've seen it. I've seen him have those 4, 5, 6 second runaround plays and then he makes the dramatic, look, we saw it against Buffalo, right? Up there in Buffalo this year where he threw the touchdown, I believe it was to Cortland Sutton in the back left corner of the end zone where you're sitting there going, damn, that doesn't look like Russ from Seattle. That's what I'm talking about. We've seen him play on schedule. We've seen what it looks like in a nice structured format to where 1, he protects the football, 2, he makes quick reads, 3, he actually even throws the ball over the middle, which some people absolutely hammer him for, that he can't see in the middle of the field, that he has to throw it outside, that the reason why he does have so many off-schedule throws is because of the fact that it doesn't come to him very quickly. So we've seen him kind of do it in spurts, all right? But because of the fact that he has a long history and he is someone who is a borderline Hall of Famer, we give him the benefit of the doubt. We always believe, well, what once was can be again, because we've seen him do it. With Justin, it's, well, no Ohio State quarterbacks ever pan out. They all suck. Look, DJ Stroud had to fight this coming out in the draft last year.
Right.
All of the people right now who are engaging in revisionist history say, oh, I love CJ the whole time. You're full of, you're full of it. Because how many people said last year, Ohio State quarterbacks are never any good. CJ didn't perform well in the cognitive testing before the comp, so he's going to be another one of those guys. And then now all of a sudden it's like, oh, I loved him the whole time. Oh, I knew he would be this guy. Well, with Justin, he's fighting those same things. When he came out in the draft, it was some of the same stuff. Now, that's not to say he didn't have things to improve upon, because of course he does. Of course. And you know what? Here's the other thing. Here's the kicker. People are acting like he walked into a Kansas City situation where had to sit behind Alex Smith and learn from Andy Reid and Doug Peterson and Matt Nagy, and he had this nice, stable, structured situation to where then once he got to play, it kind of took a nice orderly progression, and they were able to coach some of those things out of him, like you were talking about, like holding the ball too long, getting through reads a little bit faster, being a little bit more efficient and smart in situational football, while at the same time accentuating those great legs that he has, the ability to extend plays, the rocket arm that he has, that he showed, all those good things he showed at Ohio State. Now, we know that wasn't the situation, but what we won't let go of, and by we, I mean the general consensus here when looking at this situation, what we won't let go of is what Russ was and what we think Justin is already. We won't let go of it. We have to see it first. But people don't want to even give Justin a chance to basically prove to them that he can be someone who is continuing to ascend in terms of his development. We don't even want to give him that chance.
Well, the question I have, Lewis, is how do you do it in Pittsburgh if you're going to give first team reps to Russ? You know what I mean? Like,
that's a great question.
So
I don't know.
What happens if the Russ that struggles to get first downs, or the Russ that takes too many sacks, the Russ that has, does have those magic moments in the fourth quarter? Because I saw it too, calling his last game as a Bronco on Christmas Eve, where fourth quarter they needed points fast, and he just started playing fast, and he started playing, old Russ ball. I mean, it's there, but what happens if you're 2-4? Does Tomlin just stick with Russ out of loyalty because he got there first by a week? Like, that's the thing I don't understand with some of the language.
I have a hard time believing that he would do that.
Right.
I really do. I have a hard time looking. I don't know. Look, maybe Mike may be playing everybody, or the news, so to speak, coming out of Pittsburgh may be just, hey, look, man, we can tell them whatever. I'm not going to really tell him what I'm thinking. He may be thinking, listen, of course, we have to formulate a depth chart.
Yeah.
But we're going to give Justin plenty of opportunities here to go ahead and run this new offense that Arthur is putting in, which really should suit both Justin and Russ.
Right.
It really should accentuate both of their, of their skill sets, while trying to minimize many of their weaknesses by leaning on the run game and leaning on the play action pass game, and let the best man win. I really do hope that those are the conversations that are actually going on behind closed doors, and that when, as Mike likes to say, when the rubber meets the road, that the best man does play, because they don't owe either one of them anything at all. And it does shock me to hear, whether it's true or not, the reports of Mike calling Russ to assure him that he's the starter, although that they're trading for Justin Fields. The one thing, though, like right now, I'm trying to figure out exactly what is going on is, look, listen, and I know people are going to say, look, stop being a homer, stop defending Kenny Pickett and all this other BS. But look, from what I know of Kenny Pickett, Kenny has never run from a challenge a day in his life. Okay? But something pissed him off to the point where he felt as though, look, I'm not necessarily, I don't believe, being really given a true chance to compete for this job. Otherwise, why the hell does he want out of there? Like, I think he felt as though people turned their back on him, and that this was going to be a situation where Russ would have to basically, like, absolutely stink up the joint in order for him to get back in there and really get a chance to earn the job again. And so, I don't know, maybe there are people in the Pittsburgh organization who really do feel that this is the perfect place for Russ, that Arthur Smith is the perfect play caller for Russell Wilson. But I would let this thing play out. I really would. And I hope, knowing Mike the way I do, and the time that I've spent with him, and and what I believe him to be in terms of a head coach and someone who was a who is the ultimate leader and team builder, that he'll do what's best for this football team based upon what happens on the field and not what Russ has done in the past and not what Justin has done in the past, but what they do in the present as they're trying to take this offense to another level. Because really, Rich, there's a lot of good things going on with them offensively from a personnel perspective. There really is.
Oh, yeah.
When you look at it. A quarterback should be set up to succeed in this offense if Arthur can get it all going and they can keep all these guys together. Because he was a hell of a play caller when he was in Tennessee. He did wonders for Ryan Tannehill when he stepped in there after they benched Marcus. What was that, 3 or 4 years ago when he was in Tennessee, 5 years ago. I believe it was the 2020 season, I remember. 2019, 2020 season, around there. And if he can get these guys going, this should be a fun offense to watch. This really should be a run, deep shot, play action passing game. George Pickens should absolutely go nuts in this offense. And so should Pat Freiermuth. And the running game should really start clicking. And these quarterbacks, this should be an exciting time, not one of those times where it's just like, well, we just have to wait for Russ to mess it up in order to see Justin. No, it should not be presented that way, and it should not play out that way.
Well, and I'm sure Tomlin will make sure that's not the case. Before I let you go, Louis Riddick, let's just get your 2 cents on the other side of this equation, which is when you want to set your rookie quarterback up for success and also make sure he's fully evaluated at the professional level in his first full season, so you know you got the pick right. I don't believe that's going to be necessary for Caleb Williams in Chicago, regardless. But that said, I mean, Keenan Allen and DJ Moore at your wide receivers and DeAndre Swift leading a running back room and Cole Kmet at tight end in a defense that is young and is ball hawking and is coached well by Eberflus. They can get you the ball back and maybe give you short fields. I mean, is this one of the best setups for a rookie quarterback you've seen in a while, or what, Louis?
Yeah, Ryan Poles is doing some work. He's done some work for sure. Now, the most important part of it all, make sure he's protected.
Yep.
Shane Waldron, new offensive coordinator, make sure he's protected. Make sure that group of 5 up front is solidified. Make sure they are like fingers in a glove. Make sure they're all tied together, as Joe Bugle used to say, a parade of elephants. Make sure it is nice and secure and sound up there. Help Caleb get to the point where things happen on time for him, so it doesn't have to look like 2023 SC where every single play is Madden, 24. And let the guy, and so the kid doesn't take a beating and just, distribute, man. You've got some tremendous playmakers. Yeah, this is pretty exciting for Chicago. Pretty exciting for the fan base, pretty exciting for the guys that they brought in there already. I would be excited to play with a young man like Caleb Williams, and I would want to help him come along because he is very, very talented. Very talented. He just needs to learn that the pro game is not the Pac-12 game. The hits are a little bit different, in the NFC North than they are in the Pac-12. We're looking for longevity. We're looking for a nice, steady incline in terms of your ascension as it relates to your development. We don't need you to come out of the gates making plays like you had to make at SC. They do that. This team the future looks very bright. It looks very bright for him and for this football team. And you have to, I know people are right now, they are railing on Ryan Poles for not waiting it out and keeping Justin around, letting those two compete, and they're being soft and players are soft. It's like, shut up with all that. He did the right thing. He honored his word, number one. Number two, it may not have been the best business move, but it was the right team-building move to clear the decks for Caleb or Jaden or whoever else is coming in there and let them hit the ground running. I'd be excited if I was a Chicago Bear fan for sure.
I mean, the two most, obvious words for me to follow up on from that very well thought out and delivered soliloquy, Louis, is or Jaden. What? Or Jaden?
Yeah.
Come on now. You think?
No. Look,
really?
I maybe not for them. For me, look, we talked about this last year. We've talked a lot about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Last year when it was consensus that Bryce Young was number one.
I'm with you. I hear you, right?
And we talked about it. it is consensus right now, pretty much, that Caleb Williams is number one. I like Jaden Daniels, number one. And that's not enough. That doesn't mean I have to hate the other guy. But I like how this guy plays in structure. I like how this ball attacks all three levels of the field and how he sees the field and how he throws the football and how he runs the football and how he makes other people better and how what I have heard he is like from a football horsepower intelligence standpoint, how he handles his business off the field and handles distractions and is able to still keep it all going the way it needs to go. And I'll tell you what, after those two, from what I hear, man, Rich, it's getting real interesting.
Say it.
It's real interesting because you know your guy up there in Ann Arbor.
Yes.
I know they're not playing any football games right now. And maybe, and this is kind of like the wrong way to frame this meeting, like J.J. McCarthy's stock is rising. I think his stock has always been there.
Yeah.
It's that now everyone else is hearing about it and going, what? How's the stock rising? No, there's been people who have been really high on this guy from the get-go. So it's going to be interesting at this third quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Is it going to be JJ? Is it going to be Drake? And then, of course, where does Bo go? Where does Michael Penix go? This is going to be a fun draft. Right out of the gate. Mm-hmm. It's going to be fun.
Lewis, you're the best. Thanks for the time. Greatly appreciate it. As always, make us smarter and love talking ball with you. Thanks again.
You bet. Thank you.
You got it. At L. Riddick, ESPN. He's a must follow. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.